Today I'll be sharing with you 6 ways to retell a story. To retell is to share a story without reading it aloud exactly as it was written. When you retell, you can show that you understood what you read. When you retell a story, it is important to tell the story in the exact sequence that the events occurred. First, you'll choose the main events that happened in the story. Then list them out in the order that they happened. You can use this list of events to plan out your retelling. I'll show you 6 ways to retell a story using as an example the story of the 3 little pigs and the big bad wolf. So first I've listed out 8 of the main things that happen in the story. First, the 3 little pigs go out to build their homes. Second, the first pig builds a straw house. Third, the second pig builds a stick house. Fourth, the third pig builds a strong brick house. Fifth, the big bad wolf blows down the straw house. Sixth, the wolf blows down the stick house. 7, the wolf tries to blow down the brick house but can't. And 8, the pigs trick the wolf and he runs away. One way to retell a story is by using pantomime. Pantomime means acting out the main events in sequence using only body movements and facial expressions. Try not to speak when you're pantomiming. Here's an example of a boy acting out or pantomiming how the wolf may have looked when he's blowing down the house. Another way to retell a story is by making drawings. Draw a picture of each of the events, then hang them up in order. Your drawings might look something like this. Each event has its own drawing. Another way to retell a story is by making a comic strip. A comic strip has frames, and in each frame you draw an event from the story. Here's an example of 3 frames that tell 3 different parts of the story of the 3 little pigs and the big bad wolf. Notice how there's an event in each frame. Another way to retell a story is by making a puppet show. You can use puppets to reenact the events. Now, your puppets don't have to be fancy. In this example, there are puppets made out of popsicle sticks and paper. Another way to retell a story is by becoming a storyteller. You can retell the main events as a storyteller simply by putting the story in your own words. Another way to retell a story is by making flashcards. You'll make your flashcards by writing each of the events on a different card. You can shuffle them up and then put them back in order yourself, or have a peer put them in order. Now you know 6 different ways to retell a story. Which one will you choose? Thank you for watching. Please subscribe before you go.